Today on the Dad the Best I Can show.
Because when you're in routine, life goes really fast, and then you hear it all the time. Oh, the kids grew up so quickly, and I wish I did more with this. Right? I don't want to have those regrets, and I'm super aware of my relationship with time. I'm super aware of how fast it goes.
Hey now, welcome to the Dad the Best I Can show. My name is Rob Roseman. Who wants to be a millionaire legend? Chicago futures trader, Vegas poker pro. Now I'm a dad to 3 kids, ages 6, 4, and 1. Phew! Wears me out just thinking about it. Each week we're bringing on dads like you to tell us your stories, your tips and tricks to help all of us make it through dad life. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Now let's get on with the show. What's up, everybody? We have a big guest on the Dad the Best I Can show today. We are lucky to be joined by Jesse Itzler. Jesse is 50 years old. He grew up in Roslyn, New York, and now lives in Atlanta with his wife, Sara Blakely, and their 4 kids, Lazer, 9, Lincoln, 5, Charlie, 5, and Tepper, 3. For those of you who don't know Jesse, he has done it all, and he's just getting started. He co-founded Marquis Jet, the world's largest private jet card company, which he sold to Warren Buffett. He partnered with Zico Coconut Water and sold the company to Coca-Cola. He's written 2 New York Times best-selling books, Living with a Seal, where he invites a Navy SEAL, that's David Goggins, who might be the biggest badass on the planet, to move in with his family and train him 24/7. The story is insane, it's real, and it is hilarious. Jesse's other book is Living with the Monks, and it's just as inspiring and entertaining. Jesse felt like he needed a break from today's fast-paced world and technology, so he spent 2 weeks living with monks in a monastery in upstate New York. Both books are excellent, fun, easy reads. Go check them out. What else? He's a former rapper. He ran a 100-mile race. He wrote the New York Knicks anthem. He's co-owner of the Atlanta Hawks with his wife, Sara Blakely. Fellas, if you don't know who Sara is, your wives definitely do. She invented Spanx and has an amazing story too. Go listen to her How I Built This podcast. Jesse's motto is to build your life resume. He teaches a Build Your Life Resume mini course that teaches you why it's so important to build experiences and create memories. I highly recommend the course for anyone looking to get out of their routine. It actually helped inspire me to create this podcast you're listening to now. Jesse is the man, and when you listen to him, you'll see why. But the real reason I was excited to have Jesse on the show is because first and foremost, he's a dad just like us. Today on the show, we're going to talk to Jesse about why it's so hard to create newness as an adult and why it's so important to do as a dad. Jesse tells us why he makes sure to schedule one-on-one time with each of his kids. Jesse talks about his decision to learn 50 new things when he turned 50 and what impact that has on his kids. And we talk about the advice Jesse's parents gave him when he went to college. There's so much good stuff in this interview that we broke it up into 2 parts, so be sure to check out episode 15 for more gold from Jesse. Okay, enough out of me. Let's hear from the man, Jesse Itzler. Enjoy. Jesse, thanks for being on the Dad the Best I Can show. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Absolutely. I'm one dad to another. I'm glad to be here. Where are you calling from?
I am in my house in Roswell, Georgia. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm right by Chastain Park.
Awesome. We get down there like every weekend for Fern Bank, Children's Museum. We hit up all those spots.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I hear you talking so much about your life, entrepreneurial life, and it's awesome to be able to talk to you about your dad life because I know that's probably a big part of your day. You and Sara are married with how many kids?
4 under the age of 9. Yeah.
I gotta tell you a funny story real quick that you'd appreciate. We moved here to Atlanta like 1 year ago, and my wife Angie and I went to dinner with a new couple, and you know how those things go. It's hit or miss. Sometimes the wives click, but the husbands don't. So we start making small talk, and I asked the guy Chris if he's ever heard of Sara Blakely, and he says, "Oh, you mean Jesse Itzler's wife?"
That's funny.
I looked at Angie. I was like, I think we just made our first friends in Atlanta.
That's really funny. That is really funny.
he's been eating your stuff up. He's telling me about, oh, and Goggins and this. So yeah, it's awesome to connect with somebody in that way. So you're doing good stuff out there, connecting dads everywhere.
Thanks, man. Chris sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, I've been following what you're doing for about a year now, and I love what you have to say. And I think I really connected with you because unlike people like, Tim Ferriss and Gary Vee, those guys are excellent and they share all kinds of helpful stuff. But you were really the only one I saw out there that's talking a lot about being a parent and how important that is to your life and your day. Is that something you do intentionally, putting that out there?
Not intentional. I don't really have any intention with anything I do on social media. It's just kind of how I feel or what I'm doing, and that's a big part of my life. And for all I have a lot of friends, family that follow me, people I've known for a long time, and to not share that part of my life when it's such a big part of my life would seem like not really painting the whole picture. So yeah, I just, as stuff comes up that I think I want to share with people, I put it up. And a lot of times that is, with my family, I was trying to calculate kind of how I spend my time in the course of a week and how much time I spend with my kids versus work. And, kids for me is full time. It's over 40 hours a week. That's a full-time job. And, so obviously when you spend that much time, it's going to show up, in your feed and this and that. So yeah, but, I do get a lot of comments about it. And, I think it's super relatable for any father that is going through what I'm going through. We're all going through the same stuff in our own unique way, but the themes are the same. The challenges are the same. The highs are there and the lows are there. And, so I think that's probably what, is relatable for a lot of people.
Oh, 100%. Because yeah, I mean, I love, I consume a lot of the self-improvement stuff, which actually you're good at going from listening to taking action, but it isn't always relatable when somebody, Tim Ferriss tells me about his 3-hour morning routine. I'm like, well, we got kids jumping on the bed at like 6:05 a.m. So there's not always time for that. So seeing you out there doing it and, doing it as a family, as a dad, like that is really cool to see, and it really empowered me. So that's what I'm hoping we can empower other dads out there to take chances like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, I appreciate you telling me that. And, makes me feel like I'm on the right path.
Yeah, so you have a course called Build Your Life Resume, and I got a lot out of it. It actually inspired me to start this podcast, which is out of the gates in a hurry in 2018 and now 2019. And you talk a lot about why it's so important to get out there and live, do stuff, take chances. And I think a lot of younger people are out there doing it and starting, but I hear from a lot of my friends and parents say, yeah, but my career, my family, I don't have time to do this and that, and they just get in their routine. What would you say to other dads and parents out there that there's still time for them, and why it is so important for them to still be building their life resume and taking chances?
Yeah. Well, I think the more you experience it, the more you have to offer to your kids as a dad, to your kids and to your family, friends, to yourself. And I think as an adult, as you get older, it's really hard to create newness. We live in routine, go to work, put our kids down, get up, little league, whatever, but there's a routine there. And it's really hard to create new experiences, to learn new things, and even just to experience new things with your family as a dad. So you have to work at it, and you have to invest time to schedule things and plan it. And for me, that's a really big theme in my life. I spend a lot of time thinking about it, what I want to do, planning it, scheduling it, make sure I prioritize it. Because when you're in routine, life goes really fast. And then you hear it all the time. Oh, the kids grew up so quickly, and I wish I did more with this. Or I don't want to have those regrets. And I'm super aware of my relationship with time. I'm super aware of how fast it goes. So the only way to get in front of it, in my eyes, is to make sure you prioritize it on some level. And it's easy to say, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough this. I can't do that. I mean, that's just excuse. But, and I use those excuses too. I mean, that is true. but that still doesn't mean that I'm not going to get in front of it and prioritize it and make it happen.
Right. I think that is key. I saw you walking around with your giant calendar. I was like, what is your writing on there? And maybe it is, take my kids for a walk at 6 a.m. I saw that the other day. I was like, oh, he's going Goggins on his 4-year-old, huh? You got you got the kids at it. Yeah.
Well, I don't map out 6 o'clock. I'm going to take my kids for a walk, but I do say I'm going to do one-on-one trip a year with my kids, and I plan it. So there are 4 weekends that are blocked off for that. I do say I'm going to go to this part. I'm going to teach my kids for 30 minutes a day how to play basketball. I do say I'm going to read to my kids every night. I do say we're going to take a family trip this year, and here's what we're going to do. So I'd have that big ass calendar, but all of those things that I just mentioned are on the calendar. My one-on-one trip, I'm taking my son to see a Broadway show this year in New York. He's going to be 10, and we're just going father-son. That's on my calendar. I'm taking my kids, camping in it could be in our backyard. It's on my calendar. So I make sure that it happens, because otherwise there's a good chance something else will come in the way and it won't happen, and something that's not as important as that is to me.
Right. That one-on-one is such a great tip, because if you've got more than two, especially, like, we're seeing middle child syndrome, and you don't think you're neglecting them, but it's like amazing when I'll take my 5-year-old to go play basketball, just him. He really is like, his eyes light up. So it's like carving out that time is so important. And like you said, I think you do have to, you don't just talk about it. You got to write it down, and you got to do it, and you got to tell your wife, I'm taking, Brooks, you're coming with me today, and Cameron, you're staying with mom, and they're both excited. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of I'm spontaneous with my kids and my decisions too, but I do want to plan out and schedule the big stuff in advance. And kids crave one-on-one time. If you have a big family, I have 4 kids, and they crave having alone time with my wife or myself. So you got to give it to them.
So you just turned 50, and I saw you're doing a learn 50 new things. What are a couple of the cool examples of what you're learning this year?
Yeah, so as my birthday gift to myself, I decided I wanted to make a list of 50 things that I always wanted to learn how to do in my life and learn how to do them. So everything from learn how to play chess and free dive and wakeboard and ballroom dance. I don't know how to drive a stick shift. I have 0 handyman kind of skills. So I've really just brought in people that are experts in the field one by one.
Yeah, I love those. I saw you playing ping pong. The handyman one's a great one. I might have to get in line for that one. That's a good skill that my dad had that I didn't pick up.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to be able to learn again.
So your kids are around watching this, I guess, right? Do they ask you, what are you doing? Why are you holding your breath for 3 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, they're learning a lot of it with me. I think the lesson for my kids is that they're seeing that I still want to learn at this stage in my life, and I think that's an important thing for them to see.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's easy to take for granted that they'll go learn in school, but yeah, you're out there doing it and setting the example for them. Is that something, your parents did? How did you turn out the way you did? I saw you post a video of your dad wearing his Zadie hat for his 89th birthday, playing the spoons, just being totally content and happy. Is that something they passed on to you, or what?
You never know how that stuff happens. If it's in my case, it wasn't like I had all these traditions and rituals that my parents passed on to me that I'm now doing. I think I got bits and pieces from them, bits and pieces from other people, things that I just decided I wanted to do, myself. I really don't know. But what they did give me was they encouraged me to learn. My parents gave me a long leash and encouraged me to try different things, different activities until I figured out what it is I wanted to do. So I remember when I went to college, my mother said, try everything. She gave me amazing advice. It was like, if there's a Scrabble contest, do it. If there's an intramural event, do it. If there's a speaker, go. If there's a real estate club, sign up. She was like, take advantage of this opportunity. And you never know if you discover something new that you like, and you're going to meet a lot of people that way. And that's what I did. I signed up for everything at school. And that's kind of stuck with me. It stuck with me. I try to just be as, I don't want to say like cultured, but like do those kind of things and participate, go to events. I like to listen to speakers and So I don't know if it came from my parents. I guess part of it did for sure, but some of those traits I think I just picked up along the way.
Yeah, and then you're going to pass that mindset along to your kids, and it's going to afford them a great opportunity. So that's great, and that's something that I've started doing, and now I'm you see the reward of it. So it really is impactful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what of my habits and traits my kids will pick up, but you try to expose them to as much stuff as you can, and then ultimately hope that it helps shape them into what they want to be. And I think at the end of the day, you really want. I was with my brother talking about my son's swim meet, and he was asking if my son's having a good season, and I said, he could be really good. He just doesn't have the eye of the tiger. And my brother said to me, well, that's okay as long as he's having fun. And I'm like, well, not really. My son would have fun if he was sitting on the couch playing Minecraft, eating Haagen-Dazs. Like, that's not the kind of fun I want him to have. I want him to be happy for sure, but I want him to live up to his potential and be hungry to live up to his potential and be hungry to, be the best version of himself. And I think that's kind of the underlying tone of what I hope my kids pick up, because that's how I'm trying to live my life.
Yeah, so it's not even pushing him. A lot of dads push their kids into sports, and it probably has the reverse effect where they go against it. So you're leading by example. You're showing him what you're doing and hoping that he just, takes that in and follows your lead.
Yeah, I mean, and my oldest son isn't super into sports, and that's hard for me. I mean, I played basketball outside of my driveway every day until my parents had to drag me in to eat. I didn't even want to eat. I just wanted to be outside playing with the kids in the neighborhood every day, winter, summer, it didn't matter. And, my son, that's not what he's into, and that's fine. That's his own journey. He's doing his thing. But as a dad, you have to recognize one of the hardest challenges is recognizing that they're on their own journey. So, yeah. I mean, sometimes I think I should be a little bit more pushy into certain things. But there's a fine line there between pushing, encouraging, and just letting it develop on its own.
Let's take a quick break for our dad tip of the week, brought to you by Kickstart Reading. Do you have kids between the ages of 3 and 6? I've got 2 boys, and when my older son was going into kindergarten, my wife and I quickly learned that we had no idea how to teach him how to read. We found Kickstart Reading and watched one 2-minute video together, and you could see his confidence take off. Bonus, I felt like Dad of the Year. Here's another dad talking about how Kickstart Reading is helping his boys learn how to read.
Hey there, this is Chris Heller, and I'm a big fan of Kickstart Reading. Each morning before school, I show a video to my 4.5-year-old son, and now his little 2-year-old brother is getting in on the action as well. I'm a big fan of the videos, highly consumable and engaging for young boys. Definite recommend for all parents out there who are looking to get their kids off to the right start with reading. Kickstart Reading.
Go to kickstartreading.com and use the code DAD to get 65% off right now. That's DAD, DAD. See? It works. Kickstartreading.com. Now back to the show. On the Dad the Best I Can show, we like to do one dad tip of the week for other dads out there. Do you have one that you could tell other dads?
Let's see. I have a lot. I think I really like that this year is the first year I've really carved out these one-on-one trips with my kids. I'm excited about that. I think that would be something that I would highly recommend. And they don't have to be like, we're going to Hawaii. It could be as simple as we're just going to set up a tent outside in our backyard, or we're going to go to the zoo or something that's just really one-on-one. I mean, I'm trying to get away, but it doesn't always work. But spending that time or that weekend is really important.
I want to fire off some rapid fire questions. Can I ask you? Are you ready, Jesse?
Sure.
What's the first car you ever owned?
A Peugeot. I think it was called a Peugeot. And I don't know. They definitely don't make it. Whatever I own, they do not make anymore. I owned a Schwinn until I was 25. That I know. Bicycle.
What's the first job you ever had?
I was a kiddie pool attendant.
What's your favorite comedy movie ever?
Airplane.
Favorite stand-up comedian?
Oh, wow. So many. I don't want to get in trouble here. I'm friends with some right now. I don't want Chris Rock to get mad at me. to get angry at me. I have a good friend of mine who's coming up named Mike Young, who is one of my favorite stand-ups. Super funny. It's relatable to me. Very relatable.
Nice. I will go check him out on YouTube after this. I love stand-up comedy. I think is the best art form there is. I love to see it. What's your proudest athletic achievement of your life?
Running 100 miles nonstop.
And let me get this story right. Before you ran 100 miles, which is absolutely insane, you said you were running, what, 2 miles or something like that?
Well, that was when I first started out running. That was my original goal, was to be able to run 2 miles nonstop. And then ultimately, I scaled it up to 100. But before I ran the 100-mile run, I had done several marathons, so I was already a runner.
What's your favorite meal to eat?
Bananas, fruit.
Your kid's favorite meal?
Pizza.
Who is your favorite rap artist of all time?
That is an impossible question for me because I have so many. And then I would say solo artist, group. My favorite group was Run DMC. My favorite solo artist was probably Rakim.
All right, along those lines, this question comes to us from Instagram, from @chrisheller.me. If you could have a guest verse on one rap album, which would it be?
Oh, man. I'd say it probably Paid in Full. Eric B. and Rakim. Maybe Bigger and Deffer. Maybe LL. Bigger and Deffer. Yeah. Or you know what? I was actually. It might be Will. It might be he's the rapper. I'm the DJ. He's DJ. I'm the rapper. Will Smith's first album, just because I love to be friends with Will Smith.
We just played Nightmare on My Street for my kids, and their minds were blown. I was like, yeah, that's the same Will Smith that you're seeing in Men in Black, right? I got a good rap story for you that you'll appreciate. I grew up in Miami, and in 1992, my friends would all come over when I was 15 years old, and we would watch rap videos on this music channel called The Box.
Of course.
I don't know if you've ever heard of The Box. Was like MTV, but you could like request songs for $2, which I'm sure we got in trouble.
Yeah, I had 4 of my videos were on The Box.
Oh, so I mean, that's all we listened to were like 2 Live Crew, Uncle Al, Splack Pack, this rap. But our number one favorite video, no joke, was a video called College Girls by a rapper named Jesse Jaymes. And 25 years later, I found out that I know who Jesse Jaymes is. This was your song. This is amazing. That's the best video I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it too.
It was a smash hit on The Box. It was a smash hit on The Box. Like it ran in the top 10 for like 50 weeks. Yeah. Well, that was a good format. There was a lot of pretty women. It wasn't the song. You guys just liked the video.
Of course. So, I mean, we're 15-year-old Jewish kids in Miami. We're getting rap and we're getting like girls in bikinis, and it was fantastic. You came up with that whole concept?
Simple formula, man. I did. I wrote that song in college, my sophomore year of college.
Amazing. Well, I like literally, it was like Kaiser Soze moment for me. I was like, wait a minute, I'm listening like this is the same person. This is unbelievable. I told all my friends, and they were like, yeah, we used to come to your house and watch that video. It's great. I hope your kids are making music videos when they're in their 20s too. Thank you guys for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, please share it with friends and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Actually, 5 stars. We could do better than that. Cameron?
Hey, how about we'll take 50?
Brooks, how many stars?
1 million.
1 million. You gotta one-up them in this house. Thanks. See ya.